Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and I actually have a little laryngitis. I spoke this past weekend, and really I thought it would be gone by today. At the Sisterhood Showcase here in our city, and it was great. I met thousands of women. Oh my goodness, there were so many women there. And it was wonderful because this show is geared toward helping women, just empowering them. And of course, my message was loud and clear. Oh, some of you came up to see me. And I'm so thankful for that. I was so excited to get to hug my family. I get to hear from you on, through email and you watching me every week. But just to get to see you in person was such a treat. So thank you so much for coming up to see me. Alright, let's see. We're going to first answer some questions. I hope everything is going well with you guys this morning, or afternoon or evening, whenever you're watching the video. But I want to get to some questions first, and then I want to go on to, we're really ending the book. We want to talk about relaxers, and we've been talking about relaxers. We're going to talk about retouching because so many people have problems with retouching, and if we have time, I think we'll just end the last. Next week we'll go to new growth management because I want to, and that's really the last chapter. But then we have that is not the last chapter, Lisa. Oh, hair care products and beauty salons. I think that's what we'll end it with. And then we'll just get into, I'm excited. But let's see, retouching. That's what we're going to talk about today. Re-perming, retouching. Alright, questions. It says, do the ends of her hair strands ever get so bad that treating them is no longer an option? A removal of the damage is required. I have been obtaining some length while treating my damaged ends. Will there come to a point where I have to remove the damage since damage cannot be repaired? How long can I go on treating the ends? Okay. First, damage can be repaired. All hair is dead once it emerges from the scalp. Let me clarify what I mean by repair. You cannot take ends that have broken off and put them back. But if you have an end that was split and torn, you can make the cuticle layer become more compact over the top of it and get the cortex to tighten up, and that will help. And so that is a form of repair. And so it's real important for you to understand you can do that. Now, with all that being said, you trim your ends when you're ready. Ends should be trimmed for grooming purposes. I don't think that it ever gets so bad. I think once you repair and start the mending process, then they don't continue to get bad. They're just going to be there. But I recommend, for grooming purposes, to trim your ends, absolutely. If it's uneven or if it doesn't look well kept, then trim by all means. Definitely, I don't want to confuse anyone and make you think that I'm saying you shouldn't trim your ends. Oh, definitely, you can trim. But there's been this thing going around where people believe that you have to trim to grow, and you have to trim or you can't have length. And so I just wanted to disperse of that myth. And so that's why I always say you don't have to trim. But by all means, trim as much as you like. Okay, the next one is, I recently bought pH strips to test my hair products. I know my shampoo should be 4.5 to 5.5, which is the actual pH of the hair and scalp, by the way. But should my conditioner or deep conditioner be different in order to penetrate properly? Thank you so much for your wonderful advice, and continue to do God's work. Well, conditioners are slightly acidic and mostly acid balanced anyway. What's really important is what you clean with, being that pH. What you clean with, and really you don't want to go too high with your styling products, but the one that you're cleaning and trying to remove debris, the one that's closest to your scalp, exposed to the naked scalp in here, that's the one that you want to make sure that stays within that pH of 4.5 to 5.5. I know. Next question. I know this is a clear channel, but I'm interested in seeing a video about how to get a book deal and some of the ins and outs of publishing. Oh, good for you. Oh, okay. Well, I would suggest you Google, and that should help. I can tell you what I did. Initially, I did self-publish. I went to the library and I looked up everything on self-publishing, but that was so many years ago because I was tired of trying to do it my way and get a book deal. I just didn't realize what the steps I needed to take. But I was really, really having a problem with that. So I said, I'm just going to burst if I don't publish this book. So I self-published. And then after that, I got a book deal, a 2-book book deal. And so I wrote, actually I published 2 on my own, and then I got a 2-book book deal. But the way I was able to do it, you have to obtain an agent, because usually you're not a literary agent, because usually the publishers or editors will not speak directly to you, and they want to speak to an agent, someone who understands the business and knows the business. The other thing that I have not self-published in forever, so I've just heard that there are so many things out here that are companies who now, for a fee, will help you publish. So best to you. I pray that you will do well, and good for you wanting to write a book. So proud of you. Next one, it says beautiful and great video. Thank you. I love you. And next one says, I'm getting your book on my Nook. Yay! I can't wait to read it. I have my book on my iPad. It's pretty cool. I have my Bible on my iPad. I have it because in my Nook, my daughter has a Nook, but I never did get a Nook. But she said, "Oh, Mom, you need an iPad so you can do other stuff with it." I'm like, "Whatever. Give me an iPad." So she did it. Okay. The next one says, "Your hair looks so healthy." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that compliment. Am I dry here? Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that compliment. Something about these cameras. You can look right at yourself and go, "Oh yeah, I have something on my face. I have something in my hand," which is all over the place when I'm supposed to be focusing on you and hair. So I apologize for that, guys. Okay, it says, "You're so beautiful." Oh, that's so sweet. And it says, I'm to get your book and buy some of your products. Be blessed. She started to be blessed, and you be blessed as well, dear. It says, "Dr. Akbar, can we feel our hair growing out of our scalp? Some like to say that it is what causes our scalp to itch at times." Is that true? An itch is like a headache. An itch says something's wrong. Something's going on. Some activity is going. I want to say wrong. It's too strong of a word. It's just some form of activity is there. So in cases where you've shaved or you've lost hair out of that follicle, as it emerges from the mouth of the follicle, sometimes you can develop an itch. Many times the itch is from your scalp being dry or your scalp being dirty. Usually there's something on the scalp that is epidermis that it's not agreeing with. So yeah, you could, to answer your question, I don't think you really feel it. You'd have to be really, really close and pay attention and in tune to that. I don't ever remember feeling my hair grow. And by the way, the hair grows millimeters every day, so I don't know. I just don't think so. Alright, it says, next one, "I had an experience of a stylist who had assistants who rinsed out my relaxer and relaxes on his clients. After he was done with the application, the young lady didn't get all the relaxer out of my hair. I felt that there was some relaxer left on my nape. She wanted to spray the stuff in my hair to stop the stinging sensation. I told her no. Yay, good for you. And I had her rinse me again. Good for you. You want to make sure that they rinse your relaxer, sit you up, and you want to kind of do a little twirl, look back and say, "Oh, relaxer's on the neck, rest," or "No, everything looks good." So make sure they clean the neck rest, do everything that needs to be done. Good for you. And then change that towel and rinse for sure very well. And the next one says that Dr. Ackberry, you're so appreciated and lovely and dearly. And loved dearly. That's so sweet. You know, you guys just don't know how much that means to me when you say that, because it keeps me going. I work 12 to 14 hours a day, which I always tell everyone who know and love me that I'm working toward, not working so many hours. I just have a message. I'm on a mission. I thank God for the opportunity, because I believe this is my time. God is giving me an opportunity to really share with you. And I believe there's some great things going to happen. As I said, I was at this trade show this weekend. And when I do trade shows and I get to meet people face to face, it's always so exciting, because I'm able to really, and I sat on this panel to answer questions, which was really exciting, because people are so appreciative. And I know that I'm doing what God wants me to do. And I just thank God. And by the way, whatever you have, and I was reading the young lady about writing the book, stick with it. Don't give up. Please don't give up. And I'm sure there are some videos out there on the internet about how to publish. But just don't give up, because anything you have, open your hands and give it. Give it. Give it. Just give it. Because it's what God gave it to you. But thank you so much. This is a great information about the relaxers. Relaxers are not the core culprit. And she's right. It's not. There's just so many things that happen with relaxer, over processing. And we just got to learn if we're going to wear them. If you're going to wear them, which I absolutely love my natural hair. But if you're going to wear them, you need to be careful to do everything properly. Go back over these videos. Look at what you've learned. Okay, to our topic today, Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. We are going to read today, and we're going to talk about relaxing, retouching. So I'm just going to read from the book. I'll put it right here so I can, there we go. Try to stop the video. Okay, it's still going. Right, retouching. Retouching is an area where many women are confused. And chemical relaxing, when they chemical relax their hair, and they're relaxing too often. I have treated women with hair loss from scalp damage or a leave-in relaxers being applied too often, and from hair damage because they're overlapping. They're relaxing every 4 weeks, and every 6 weeks, and some even every 2 weeks, which is, I don't understand that one. Hair strands grow from a human head or the scalp on an average of about ½ an inch every 4 to 8 weeks. And you must allow your technician or stylist at least an inch or more so that they can see that line of demarcation. Some people have this much new growth and they're relaxing down here, so they're overlapping. So that's a problem. Ideally, it would be great if you had 2 inches. That would be super, because that way you don't have to worry about your stylist. Yeah, about there. That's 3. That's 4. But anyways, I don't have a rule limit in front of me, but you want to ideally have about 2 inches. Okay, of new growth, so that the chemical technician or stylist has a real clear line of demarcation, or what I like to call line of difference, where the new growth ends and the chemically treated hair begins. Because if you don't, you're going to be careful. Also, you want a professional, one that actually specializes in relaxers. I mean, think about it. We have to go to school, obtain a license in order to relax hair, and then you have people relaxing hair without a license, or just because they found a box on the shelf. Now, I know that we go to certain salons and then they still cause damage because relaxers are just not being done right. We want our hair relaxed as straight as possible, which means it's over processed, because the process of relaxer is to soften, straighten, then dissolve. So when you over process, you're thinning out the hair, and eventually it will dissolve, which means it will break, or you will actually bulge from the scalp. So there's things that you have to remember. So what do? You want to make sure that you relax no sooner than 10 weeks. That's right, 10 to 12 weeks. And the way you're going to be able to do that is by controlling your new growth. And I'm going to talk about that next week. But new growth management is crucial. New growth management is very, very important. But you want to relax every 10 to 12 weeks because you want to be able to stay on that line. For years, professionals have said that, you may have heard that if you do not relax your hair is going to break. Well, the only reason your hair is not breaking is because, the only reason your hair is breaking is because you're creating this, what we call webbing and locking. And the webbing and locks are okay if you're trying to wear locks as a style, but if it's your new growth that's locking, that's problematic, okay? Because what's going to happen when you try to work loose the new growth, that force that you have from the hair being locked, that force that it takes to get that loose is going to cause this part to break. Now, so it's very, very important that you understand. I've conducted many studies on our hair, many, to prove theories that I had about why you should relax only 10 to 12 weeks. I started out with about 8, and I talked about 8 weeks. I did a new study recently, and it may or may not be in this book, where I realized 10 to 12 weeks. So even 8 is too soon. It's just too soon. People end up with more problems. Let's see, I conducted really studies on myself. It was interesting. I conducted 2 studies over approximately 16 months. The first study lasted about 7 months, and the second lasted about 9 months. In the first study, I waited 7 months before applying a relaxer to my hair, and my 3.5 inches of new growth. And in the second study, I waited 9 months before applying relaxer to my 4.5 inches of new growth. I learned the most from the 7th month study. As I said, I normally wait about 12 weeks between my relaxers. So I did not really run into any problems until I got to that 4th month, which was pretty problematic. Now, I got to a point, and I had to conduct it on myself. This is back when I wore relaxers many years ago. It's many, many, many years ago. And what I found is that I was literally talking to my hair in the mirror, and it was like, okay, hair, get it together. Why are you turning on me? I had no control over my hair. My hair was literally controlling me, and that's how new growth is. It's so crazy. If you do not control it, it will absolutely control you. But I stopped. I stopped, and I began to look at my hair. I realized something very important that I had never thought of before. Something that would help me to understand my hair was not just falling out, because I thought my hair was falling out. It was just, like you say, my hair will break if I don't, or my hair will shed, your favorite word. It will shed if I don't get a perm. And so what I realized is that I was literally pulling my hair out, and I was thinning, because I would pull at trying to work the new growth, and then what will happen, it will pull off the layers, and it was just beginning to change texture. When your hair is chemically treated, the hair actually changes in type from kinky hair type to chemically treated hair type. When your new growth starts to appear, you then have 2 types of hair. Some is chemically treated kinky hair, and some is natural kinky hair. Of course, you know that. These 2 different types share space on each individual strand. And I'm just going to show you something, because I'm always saving my little bag. And I don't know if I've ever shown y'all this before, but this little hair, I saved it because this is literally what happened. If you can see it, and I think I've shown you that before. See that's the new growth, and this is from a patient who literally pulled her hair out. Can you see that close? Pulled her hair. See if I can put it behind the envelope. You can see that, yeah. See, she literally pulled. You can see the new growth at the top. And see the straighter hair. Well, see, that hair is sharing space with this, the natural hair sharing space with the basically relaxed hair. And if you're not careful, believe me when I tell you that younger hair, that new hair, and you've probably experienced that, it is going to take control. Okay, so it's really, really important. So there are two different types. They share the same space. And I want to kind of read from this because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. It's some certain ways I worded it that I was really excited about, and I want y'all to be able to benefit from that. Alright, so let me read now. Now guess which one? That's right, the one that's kinky, the one that took over. The hair closest to the scalp is actually baby hair. That's what I call it. It's baby hair because it hasn't been into the world very long, and it has not had an opportunity to become damaged. I need to speak up. I hope that y'all are able to hear me. This voice is doing something weird this morning. Okay, it has all of its natural spiral shape. It has all of its layers, its ability to stretch without breaking. There is a line that must not be crossed when in that type of hair. So which is that chemically treated line, you have to make sure that that line, right there at that line, you have all that support. If you do not have support at that line, then you're going to have some problems. It has been the hair on that's chemically treated. You have dealt with the wear and tear, not to mention all the rough combing and brushing, and of course chemicals, products, heated styling tools. This new hair hasn't been through any of that, so it's going to be a lot. Let's see, move the book back and forth trying to figure out. Okay, even at best, when the chemically treated hair part of the strand is in optimum condition, the new growth is still stronger and is mandatory for new growth management. Mandatory. The natural kinky new hair is naturally healthy and stronger. It just is, and that's why so many people are running from relaxers going to natural hair. With a new retouch relaxer, all the hair on the surface of the scalp is straight. As you have seen, as you see the, what did I say? So let me read it. Your new growth on average grows to about a half an inch, and we mentioned that already. Half an inch every 4 to 8 weeks. Because of its spiral shape, the natural kinky hair begins to intertwine and seamlessly lock together. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week, how you manage it. And so what happens, you create what we call webbing, where the hair on the right side of the part crosses over with the hair on the left side of the part. And then it begins to do the next thing is locking. And it just pulls together. And so you have a lot of force. So now you have hairs that are crossing over instead of one single strand, and these two crossover are pulling against that single strand. And so that's why it breaks at that point. So it explains that all that pulling. So, you know, I struggled with my study at first because, like I said, I was literally talking to my hair. But I realized that all I had to do was manage my new growth. And I thank God. And that's why I'm trying to teach you guys. Because, you know, if you can do this, you can manage your new growth. And we want to do that because whether you're transitioning or whether you're wearing a relaxer, and you have to manage your new growth. You have to have two categories of hairstyles. And we're going to talk about new growth management next week. I'm super excited because I can also talk about transitioning as we do. So maybe we'll convert some of you over, some of you relaxer wearers. But you know, for me, it's okay. I am going to be here for you whether you wear your hair relaxed straight or whether you wear your hair naturally kinky. I don't care. What I care is that you are blessed and you're appreciating your hair in its natural state before you alter it. And if you alter it, I want you to protect and preserve your hair as you're doing it. Love you guys. To God be the glory in Jesus. You know who I serve. And I will see you guys next week right here. And I will have a better voice on Ask the Hair Doctor. Love you. Bye-bye.